The ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine has once again brought to the forefront the contrasting approaches of the BRICS and NATO countries towards resolving a crisis. Hello and welcome to TFIGlobal, the foreign affairs and geopolitical analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I'm your host Vedika. Let's begin with the video report. While the BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, have been advocating for a peaceful resolution to the conflict, NATO has been taking a more aggressive stance by threatening its allies with retribution if they do not contribute to the war effort. The BRICS countries have been actively engaged in diplomacy to find a solution to the conflict in Ukraine. For instance, China and Russia have both proposed peace plans that could potentially end the crisis. Similarly, India has offered its assistance in resolving the conflict through dialogue and diplomacy. Even Brazil and South Africa, which do not have a direct stake in the conflict, have expressed their support for a peaceful resolution to the crisis. On the first anniversary of the Russian invasion, China's foreign ministry issued a statement calling for the sovereignty of all countries to be respected, but it did not specify what this meant for Ukraine. It also presented a plan for crisis resolution. Released by the foreign ministry, the plan urges an end to Western sanctions against Russia, the establishment of humanitarian corridors for the evacuation of civilians, and steps to ensure the export of grain after disruptions caused global food prices to spike last year. Likewise, the head of the Office of the President of Ukraine, Andriy Yermak, and the National Security Advisor to the Indian Prime Minister Ajit Kumar Doval met a few months ago and discussed the Ukrainian peace plan, a 10-point peace formula that provides comprehensive answers to the question of what needs to be done to end the war in a sustainable and just manner. The peace document is based on such fundamental principles as the sovereignty, independence, and territorial integrity of states within internationally recognized borders. More recently, Brazilian President Lula da Silva visited China to not only strengthen ties with his nation's biggest trade partner, but also to win support for his push for peace in Ukraine. Lula wants Brazil, China, and other nations to help mediate the war as part of his nation's return to the world stage. But his proposals to end the conflict have irked Ukraine and some in the West. Contrast this with NATO, which has been taking a more confrontational approach towards the conflict. The alliance has been increasing its military presence in the region and has been providing military aid to Ukraine. Moreover, NATO has been pressuring its allies to contribute more to the war effort, with even some suggesting that NATO should consider using military force against Russia. This aggressive approach by NATO has only served to escalate the conflict and increase tensions between Russia and the West. The contrasting positions of BRICS and NATO on the Ukraine conflict highlight a fundamental difference in their approach to global affairs. While NATO has traditionally been viewed as the defender of Western values and interests, the BRICS countries have been increasingly seen as a counterbalance to Western dominance in international affairs. This shift in global power dynamics has been facilitated by the economic rise of the BRICS countries, which have collectively become a significant force in the global economy. In recent years, the BRICS countries have been working towards strengthening their economic ties through initiatives such as the New Development Bank and the Belt and Road Initiative. These initiatives have the potential to transform the global economic landscape, with the BRICS countries at the forefront of this transformation. You see, the United States has been the dominant superpower in the world for several decades. However, in recent years, America's economic and political power has been on the decline. The global financial crisis of 2008 and the subsequent recession have weakened America's economy, while the country's political influence has been undermined by its military interventions in the Middle East and other regions of the world. Hence, America's relative decline has paved the way for BRICS to emerge as a potential future world order. To be clear, BRICS countries have significant economic strength and potential. The 5 countries collectively account for about 25% of the global GDP, and their economies have been growing at a much faster pace than those of developed countries. China, the largest economy in the bloc, has been growing at an average rate of 6.5% annually over the past decade, While India, the second largest economy, has been growing at an average rate of 7.5%, Brazil, Russia, and South Africa have also been experiencing significant economic growth rates. BRICS countries have also been increasing their trade and investment ties with each other and with other countries in the world. The bloc has been promoting trade and investment liberalization, and its members have been seeking to diversify their trade and investment relations away from the traditional partners such as the United States and Europe. The creation of the new development bank by BRICS countries has been a significant step towards promoting trade and investment among the bloc's members. This shift in global power dynamics has the potential to fundamentally reshape the global order, with the BRICS countries increasingly seen as the global peacemakers. As the world becomes more multipolar, traditional alliances such as NATO may become less relevant, and the importance of the BRICS countries in shaping global politics could only increase.